Welcome to Q&A with Che. I'm Che Pope. Today, we're going to talk about what happens when an artist gets signed. Let's say you go from, you're this hustling independent artist, you've been working hard, you finally get there, the deals are on the table, then you sign the deal. Then what? For today's Q&A, my guest is IDK, a rapper hailing from the DMV area. I've known this young man for 2 or 3 years, and I've been very impressed with him. He's a very thoughtful, articulate young man, which is one of the reasons why I want to talk to him. And he recently got signed to Warner Brother Records after a bidding war, after various labels fighting for him. He was grinding for a good 3-4 years independently, building himself up. And so today we're going to get into all that. We're going to get into his journey. We're going to get into how he does it, his opinions on building a fan base, trials and tribulations. How hard is it to make it from an area that's not, known for music like that, where it's not Atlanta, it's not LA, it's not New York. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to talk about overcoming trials and tribulations to achieve success and get to where you want to go. All of that today on Q&A with Che with IDK. If you like what you hear, make sure you subscribe. Tune into every episode of Q&A with Che on the Himalaya app. That way you get it as soon as it drops. And here's me and IDK. Welcome to Q&A. It's like Wu-Tang. We for the kids. Today I got in the studio with me my man from the DMV. Known this young man for quite a few years actually now. Mm-hmm. Introduce yourself, IDK.
Yes, IDK.
What's it stand for?
IDK stands for ignorantly delivering knowledge, because that's the only way these niggas will listen, you feel me?
That's true, that's right.
Pretty much.
The kids is hard-headed, right?
Yeah, sometimes it could be like that.
I wanted to start off, even before I get into kind of the topic of the discussion, I wanted to ask you, I found it really fascinating that you titled your new project, Is He Real?
Yeah. Is He Real? Is He Real is the play off words for Israel.
Oh.
And the definition of Israel is to wrestle with God. So the album is me wrestling with the idea whether God is real or fake. That's pretty much what it is.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. What I really wanted to talk to you about today is because obviously I've known you from independent artist to now major label artist. That was my little standing ovation. Okay, you signed.
Yeah.
Now what?
There's a lot of things actually, A lot of people think when you sign a deal, it's like the end of everything, but it's honestly just the beginning, It's like I'm in a league now, you feel what I'm saying? That's like basically what it is. Like I was playing in college, what I'm saying, all those years, and now I'm in a league.
Okay.
I would like to say I was one of the people that probably played all 4 years before I, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you got that experience. You got that experience.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the money, I know you get to, stability of an advance and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. What's the difference? Because you did everything, when you was independent, you did all that. You had your team.
The biggest difference, it's a double-edged sword, is like I got a team, a bigger team of people that believe in me and try to work so that I can have more wins. We can all have wins together. Why it's a double-edged sword is because, as the staff gets bigger, the way you manage that staff is like a whole nother ball game. You got to deal with a lot of different people, a lot of
personalities.
Different personalities, emotions, everybody. At the end of the day, you got to be real with yourself. You're not the priority in their life. Maybe at work, but in their life, they got other things that that matter to them more than what I do in my first week sales and shit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
how do you convert them? Like how do you when you go into a record label, right? Obviously, someone believed in you, right? They signed you, they did a deal, but not everyone, right?
Right.
How do you convert everybody in there to being believers?
Well, so I came with I had a unique position when I came in. I came in with a fully finished album, and it was so powerful in terms of the message and the music. It was so developed that a lot of people were already they wanted to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So luckily, I didn't have no problems getting the building to believe in me, but keeping that, momentum is where the challenge kind of is sometimes with people. I think it's a matter of understanding that everybody on your team is a part of your team. You're not above anybody. You're not there to tell them they suck at their job when things don't go right. Things like that, you kind of have to like be very, is the word diplomatic? I don't know if that would be the right word.
But you sound like you're on your Phil Jackson right now. You know what I mean?
guess so, shoot. But like pretty much like really though, like it's like, it's honestly it's about being a nice person, like being a good, like it's like a balance.
Yeah, because a lot of artists are assholes, right?
Exactly. I think that people are used to that and expect that. So when you come in and you actually treat people with care and you have like respect when you speak to them, it like it goes over. It goes a long way.
Yeah. I mean, that goes back to how you were raised. I think I try to take that into account. You know what I mean? Like kind of what J. Cole said about Kodak. You know what I mean? Like kind of like, okay, that's all he knew. You know what I mean? So so I think that's testament to your family. You know,
100%. Yeah.
So that leads me back right to DMV.
Yeah.
How does one get on from the DMV?
Man, so like with me, it's crazy because can you tell?
I got this thing. Hold on. For those who don't know, the DMV is the D.C. area.
Yeah, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. I like to say D.C. area personally, but it's crazy because see, I'm one of those artists that, however, I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. Basically, there's different eras in rap and especially in the new age of rap, and for some reason, whatever it is, I'm able to kind of stay relevant as things change and still always be in the conversation every time, right? When I first started rapping, nobody was really rapping like that in the DMV. The only people were my boy Chaz French.
Shout out to Chaz. I know Chaz.
Yeah, Goldlink. Obviously Wale and Logic. But it wasn't like what it is. There was no culture. Everybody was kind of doing their own thing, and there was no real unity because everybody didn't really hang with each other type shit.
Yeah.
That we didn't grow up with each other. It wasn't like back in the day when it was like a Tribe Called Quest and like De La Soul and all these guys.
Or
and they formed their own group.
Yeah, or like Atlanta and all that.
Or even Tribe Called Quest and Wu-Tang and stuff. They all knew about each other. Like, it wasn't like that. There was no real culture. So I had to kind of like be one of the pioneers of what it was to make it past just being from the area and getting to places like LA and New York and being on blogs like Fader and Complex and all of that.
So how'd you do that? You know what I mean? How'd you build a fan base independently?
So the hustle really started with me when I went. So I was rewinding back. I was locked up. I was in a state prison in Maryland. And that's where I really like learned to rap.
Shout out to the felons.
Right.
A couple of felons.
Yeah,
a couple of educated felons sitting here.
That's where I really learned to like make music and stuff. Just because it was always a passion, but that was a time where I was so bored that I actually did it. You know what I mean? At the time I was a tutor. I used to help people get their GEDs in jail and stuff like that. So that made me kind of popular, and everybody saw me rapping. So they were like, "Yo, you should spit something." And one day I got like enough courage to kind of just do it, and everybody liked it. So I said, when I get out, I'm gonna make a mixtape. I have a book that I still have to this day of all the things I said I was gonna do when I got out, and I wrote them down, and I really did all of those things. It's just crazy.
Dope. Shout out to planning and execution.
Right. But so from there, I was in school before I got locked up. I got locked up 3 times. So this last time I got locked up, I was in school before I got locked up. So when I got out, I was like, let me go back to school. So I was doing computer science. Because I did computer science, I learned certain things on how to like navigate through social media I learned coding basically.
Okay.
And I used to make like programs that would like help promote my Instagram like from scratch.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, like literally like hashtag liking and all that stuff automatic. Like I was doing that. And pretty much that was like the first start to kind of like building a small internet fan base. This was when, mind you, when I got locked up, there was no Instagram. When I got out, Instagram was the big thing. And I figured out how to use that to build a fan base. So that and Facebook is how I was like literally hitting people one by one.
Oh, that's pretty
and
genius.
Sending them my music.
That's pretty genius. You know, you was ahead of your time.
Yo, it's crazy. I think about it now like, wow, that's crazy that I was doing that. You know what I mean? Probably
what I
like the
mean?
only
Yeah.
rapper that ever did.
And look at what Lil Nas X just did, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, damn.
Yeah.
It's kind of heavy.
Yeah, but that's what built the initial fan base that I had.
Now let's go back into your name a little bit because I think there's something to it, and I've always noticed that in all your music that there's some educational moments in there. There's some substance in there,
Right.
and we know we're in the age of real ignorant music, right?
Yeah,
Real ignorant. That's just kids, and the kids want what they want.
Yeah.
But I think I grew up in that heyday of hip hop. So even though you could have an ignorant joint, you could have NWA or whatever, and and shoot 'em up. But you could also have Tribe Called Quest, Outkast, right?
Yeah.
So in this day, when you see what's working out there, how do you go a different path? How do you feel like and be able to build a career with that?
I think the most important part is you have to understand what's going on so you're not too out of touch, in my opinion. And use elements of what's going on to build something new. And then at the end of the day, make sure that the message and what you preach and what you speak about doesn't deter when you're still taking elements of what is popping. Yeah. So it could be something as simple as a flow, because you got to understand, like, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah.
But if you say it a certain way and you say something good at the same time, that's how you make the two worlds come together and it could work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe not rap so fast. One thing, I got this thing against rapping fast. I used to do that shit all the time, but anytime I make a song, I think about women.
Okay.
Like, yo, can a woman listen to this,
do
vibe to this?
Yeah, do they want to hear some speed rap shit?
I don't care about what dudes think. I just be honest with you. Even if I say like some real powerful shit, even if I got like bars, whatever, it's all about what women think.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying?
So that's really, you feel like that is the core of your fan base?
Now it's starting to get. I did a show at the Roxy, and it was a few women in there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But for the most part, it's mostly guys. But it's starting to change a little bit. You know what I mean?
All right, let's get into the project a little bit, because I think that's fascinating. The sort of the discussion. That's a life discussion, right? Many people, many religions have debated about it. Science. Right. So, first of all, what led you to that conversation? I know you've gone through some tragedy and some overcome some. We all struggle and so forth.
Yeah, man. So with me, what led me to even wanting to speak about that? I think I've always wanted to speak about that in my music. I just never thought it was time. So I made other projects about subjects that were not as broad. And I kind of based everything that I did on things that I've been through. But always knowing in the back of my mind, I wanted to get to this thing we call religion and spirituality. But I want to do it in a way, again, where I'm using the right elements so it doesn't feel like I'm making this preachy, super extremely conscious album.
Yeah, where you just lose people or you get cataract and then you get put in this box.
Because I don't like, to be honest, I don't listen to conscious rap like that.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. Like, even though I have something to say, that's just because of who I am as a person and what I stand for.
Yeah.
You feel me? But I don't really listen to that like that.
You don't really consider yourself a conscious rapper per se.
I don't think so. I mean, look, people will say that because of what I say in my music, but I might say some ignorant ass shit. Like, that's just me. Like, you know what I mean? Depends on which day, how I feel when I wake up. You know what I mean? But it's really like me putting together like these ideas over time, and then I said, okay, it's time to talk about this. I'm ready. I think I have enough. And before I write any album, I might have made songs or whatever, but I always brief it. I like write the concept and the idea. And even down to the marketing plan.
That goes right into my next question. Like, what's your process? I love asking artists their process.
So when I did this last one, I said, this is how I feel about religion. These are the problems. These are the conflicts that I have. Like, I've listed all the things and thoughts that I had, like, about religion. Then I went down to the songs, titles even that I wanted to have, things like that. Then I thought about, like, marketing ideas, but, like, briefly. And then I even went down to, like, which producers I wanted to work with, which directors I wanted to work with. It's, like, all visualizing these things so that I can manifest them into something real. You know what I mean?
Really, for you to be the age you are to sort of do that. That's that's like a Kanye process. That's like a Dr. Dre process. Where they really they see the whole picture. You know what I mean? They're looking at the stage design and so forth.
I have this quote that I made up 2 days ago.
Okay.
I said, I see the world from the moon. So I go on top of the moon and I look at the world. I don't look at the world from where I'm at and what's in front of me.
Okay.
You can't see the whole world.
You can't see it.
Everything I do is always the big picture.
Yeah, they say that about chess. That's why you're not allowed to, like, if you're playing one-on-one with chess, you're not allowed to get up because when you see the board sideways, you see it from a different view.
Right.
So you're not supposed to do that. Yeah. All right, I got one of the things that really impresses me about the record and the project, and actually in general, it didn't start with just this project, but is the production sophistication. You know what I mean? Right now, not taking anything away from the what kids are doing in FL, and that's that's the vibe, and that's what the kids like. But I've always challenged the status quo of production. That's been my career. You know what I mean? If this was it, like, when I came on, it was all beats, right? Just records chopped up, and I was like, well, why can't you incorporate live instruments but still make it sound like hip hop? You know what I mean? Obviously, people started taking that to the next level, and I'm referencing Kanye, Dre, because they're the ones who to me have used live instruments some of the best. Outkast. Now, in this day and age, it's almost like that went away. You know what I mean? It's Fruity Loops. A lot of people, you know what I mean? They're nice with the 808s. I give them that. But the sophistication of the production has gone away. I hear that on your album. Like records like Clouds, like records like Julia. You know what I'm saying? Where's that come from?
So the importance is, with me, whenever I use anything that has to do with live instrumentation or traditional chords or anything, I always think of a contemporary way to do it. So whatever I get, I'm like, okay. I remember I just got this beat the other day, and it was a guitar riff, and it had the snare and it had all these things, and I'm like, okay, this snare is soft and it sounds tight, but it sounds like a beat I've heard before. How can I make this more forward thinking, more contemporary? So I took the snare, and you know how like Kanye, you'll hear Kanye like Watch the Throne on Paris, he changed, or whoever did it. Hit Boy changed the snare to like a whatever that was. Like
when it changes,
right.
Yeah.
I was like, instead of, that's been done before, so I can't do that. What if I take water, like a river or something, and like really break that into a snare, and then I changed literally the snare to the river, and it still gave it that soft feel, but now it's something like different, a different sound, a new way to play around with it.
So you're really a producer.
That's the best way to put it. I always tell people, to be honest, I'm a producer that knows how to rap.
Yeah,
that's really what it is.
Yeah, because that's production. That's really going into it and really making it your own customer. You know, and I think that alone is different. You know, that you get a beat and you don't just okay, the beat's done.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I sometimes I'm learning more now to keep things simple. Not everything has to be like this big grand production, but the right songs, the right moments in the album have to have that feel. So it's like a balance of knowing when to keep it simple, even from the way that I rap, even from what I say. Is sometimes I say this song sound like it could be here in this space, and in this space, you don't hear people paying attention to lyrics. They just drunk. They just want to say whatever, like that shit. Like, and I learned how to do that, and I'm learning more and more how to do that.
Yeah, because I hear like records like, I even hear a little bit of an Eminem influence on records like Porno. You know what I mean? When you are, that shows me you do have that verbal gymnastic capability if you so chose, even though I know you don't like the fast rap.
Right.
But I hear the influence, you know.
It's important to me to have that balance, because that is the foundation of the music that I think is great. It's sometimes listening to Drake and seeing how simple the things he says are, but they make you feel a way. They give you a level of confidence. There's a lot of bravado in the way that he says certain things, and that is one way. But then every now and then it's like cool to like let the people that like really want to see you really like go in know that you could do that too. Don't get it twisted. I don't, you know what I mean?
You ain't got to be Kendrick on every record.
Right.
But I get you.
But every now and then, let me say,
because Drake has mastered that, right? He's mastered the one thing. I was just with Wendy Goldstein, who's one of the executives at Universal Republic, and she called him an anomaly. She said, in terms of, we were talking about the different artists and like the impact and culture and so on and so forth, and she said, and basically she was like, well, Drake is an anomaly to these rules I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is he an anomaly? She was like, because he's mastered the simplicity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think
Exactly.
that's, you know, that is a good
And
point.
and the honest opinion, and just let's be honest, simplicity brings mass. So if you want to appeal to most people are simple. Most people don't think in the abstract. But abstract brings respect. So the artists that are getting all of these fans, they looking at the people that are abstract like, I'm trying to be like you, for real, for real.
Yeah.
And so it's like that balance. If you can balance the two, that's when you really win.
That goes to that Jay-Z Common line, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I was just thinking about that line the other day.
So that leads me into another conversation with you and your career.
Yeah.
Before I ask this question, I want to ask you, what does radio mean to you? Is that important to you?
So I think there's tiers in the artist's career. Coming in, what's the most important is core fans. Once you build like a core fan base, the next thing is press. Creating that narrative, having that story, creating that critical acclaim.
Okay.
Once you get to that acclaim, in order to cross over and gain a mass majority of people, the radio gives you that transition. But then after the radio, after you kind of have mastered that to an extent, you're in a place now where you have a core fan base, you have critical acclaim, you have mainstream acclaim. You can kind of do whatever you want almost. That would be like a J. Cole and a Kendrick Lamar right now.
Okay.
Radio is important if you want to be a superstar.
Do you want to be a superstar?
Yes.
Okay, so radio is important to you.
Eventually. I think it's going to soon.
Okay.
We're going to start to see that.
So where do you want to be in a year?
I want to be, I'm thinking my main focus right now is touring. And touring is the foundation for a core fan base. I would love to be doing 1,000 cap venues at least within a year. Whatever else falls around that, whether I'm on the radio, whether I'm have a platinum record, all that, that's kind of where, that's a little bit more up in the air. I'm kind of focused on touring.
Okay.
But I would like to have records and things like that going within a year.
Once since day one when you started your career, how long did it take for you to be able to get a booking manager?
Damn, you want me to tell you something? I used to send emails to all the booking agencies, and I'd be like, hi, my name is Jason Mills, and I manage IDK. JIDK, that was my name at the time. I literally wasn't lying, though. My name is Jason Mills, and I managed myself. You feel me?
That's dope,
and I would be copy and paste and like trying to submit my shit, and it wasn't working. Like one responded back and said, we'll review it. And then they said, we don't have like room to do this.
Why, you think it was too early?
It was too early, man. I wasn't there yet. I didn't have nothing that would be like attractive. I couldn't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It wasn't an easy sell.
But you had the insight to at least already start.
Oh yeah, I got emails from WorldStar like originally emailing me back like, yo, you need 50,000 views to get on here, blah, blah, blah. I have emails back from Double XL. Let's just going hard, like trying to make shit happen. You know what I mean?
So
it took me like.
So young kids listen to the work you put in. You know what I mean?
I didn't get an agent. I started 2012. I didn't get an agent until 2015.
Wow. Okay, 3 years of grinding before you were able to get your weight up.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you feel? How much? You know, one of the problems to me right now is artists are getting signed, right? They're getting off of popularity, right? So meaning, you're getting they're nice with their socials, whatever. Something went viral.
Right.
Then they go do a show and the show's trash.
Man, that's why I thank God for like what I was able to do early in my career. See, my first show was at University of Maryland. We all had to sign up. Yeah, we had to sign up. It's called Juke Joint. It's like this thing where it's like basically an open mic. You sign up, you go and you perform. I remember that shit, and that was my first show ever, my first performance ever.
How'd it go?
Not so good. I ended in a battle, and it was like a girl MC, and she was like ready to battle. I wasn't, and it didn't go too well.
Yeah, but you picked yourself up, right?
Yeah, and I kept going. My first real show though, like actual show, was at Howard Theater. They called me one day. I was at work. I was a barber. I was cutting people's hair and shit, and randomly they called me and was like, "Yo, you want to open up for Juicy J and Travis Scott?"
Wow.
at Howard Theater, and I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yo, I told my boss, I'm like, I gotta go, man. Like,
That's fine.
and then
My parents went to Howard.
yeah,
Yeah.
oh shit, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I did that shit, and fucking, that was my first show, and they paid me $200, and I was shocked
Right.
that
You're
they
like,
paid me.
you're like, I can get paid for this.
Yeah,
Like, that's
I couldn't
crazy.
believe it.
Yeah.
I could not believe that shit.
Before you got signed, what's a rough estimate of how many shows you performed?
Hey, how many shows you think we performed? At least 200. 250, 300.
You hear that? 200.
Probably
200, 200, 250.
Because I know there was years where it was like we did 100 shows this year. We did 120 shows this year. I would say between 200 and 300 shows.
Yeah. So that's work ethic. You see
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Now, I know you made the move to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
A lot of people call this the trap door. And what I mean by that is the girls, the drugs, the life, getting gassed, you know what I mean? Over trying to live above your means, things
Right.
like that. How do you avoid the LA traps?
Oh man, for me, I'm gonna be honest with you, this shit is easy. I barely drink.
Okay.
I don't smoke. I can control myself when it comes to women. Like I know, like they be around and stuff. I tend to like a specific type of woman, and it's never really the type that like gets you into trouble. You know what I'm saying?
I do know.
So
you stay focused.
pretty much, yeah. Like don't get it twisted. I'm still like a young nigga at the end of the day. I'm not sitting here saying like I'm perfect, but I be seeing what niggas do. I don't do none of that shit, dog. I be chilling like yesterday. I'm like, nigga, let's play Call of Duty or some shit. I'll be in the house, like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what having kind of been here now for 15 years, I've seen people come and go. You know what I mean? I've seen the rise and falls, and it just the traps. Just they, kids fall into it.
Yeah, nah. I just think me going to jail and the things I used to do when I was younger, kind of like I learned right from wrong.
Yeah, so you
early.
prepared yourself.
Right.
Yeah, without even knowing that you prepared yourself.
I just grew up faster than a lot of people. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Now that you're in the game, right? A lot of people work together, features and this and that. Have you built relationships with other artists?
Yeah, man. I was just talking to Sway Lee the other day randomly. Like it was just like on some like, I posted a comment. He replied like, "You the GOAT," like blah blah blah, and then he was just like fucking with my music. The great thing about music and in this industry is, again, the abstract and mass, right? Even if you have the mass, you respect the people who are abstract and think forward more. Almost, you look up to them, even if they're not as big as you sometimes. And I'm not saying necessarily he looks up to me, but I notice a lot of the time it's not about your following. It's not, everything is measured by your art.
Yeah, but even that awareness, right? That shows, and that's something to me when I see bigger artists aware of like some real dope shit. Like one of the kids I really like is this kid JPEG Mafia.
Yeah, I got a record with him. I was just texting him today because we about to do some shit.
Yeah,
that's my boy.
Yeah, he got that energy, and that I respond to. So it always, to me, those artists that are more informed, and that's one of the things I've always respected about a Kanye. You know what I mean? There's other things, don't be wrong, Kanye's a lot of things. But one of the things that I've always liked about him is that even whether he was influenced by it and took a little sauce from it,
right?
I like the fact that he was always so early in a certain artist, right?
Right,
he would find an artist he liked and he would really be, whether he pull him next to him or get him in the studio with him or even to have a conversation with him. You know what I mean? We had Chief Keef. When Chief Keef we took Chief Keef to Paris. It was too early for Chief Keef to go to Paris. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, he left everybody, left his boys, left his manager, and just got on a plane. It was too soon for him to go to Paris. But that alone is just, you know what I mean? What I mean is that Kanye just has to understand that and look back into those artists. So I love bigger artists that do that.
Right. Yeah.
And hopefully they don't take the sauce, and hopefully they help.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm having conversations with some interesting people that you're like, damn, how do you know about me? Or I wouldn't even think you would listen to my type of rap or music. And these people show love, and that's why I say. So as far as building relationships and stuff, now is at an all-time high because a lot of people have respect for what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And do you think is that going to be a strategy that you use to level up? Obviously, Drake, when Drake was smaller, he used it. Now that
Right.
he's larger, he uses it the other way. He uses
Right,
it in
right,
reverse,
right,
right?
right. I don't look at it as a strategy. It's organic. If I feel it, I feel it. If it's the right fit, if it makes sense, if somebody's showing me a certain amount of love and I'm receptive to it, then it happens. I don't think too much about it. It just as it comes, it happens. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Yeah.
All right, good. Now, right now, just in terms of like 2019, 2020, we're just talking. Damn, I'm hungry. My stomach. Show you
It
that.
be like that.
Yeah, nah, I keep that hungry. I try to stay hungry. What's the other? Just name me five. Just name me five artists out there of your peers, higher, lower, where it don't matter, none of that. So it's all just that you like how they moving.
I like Denzel Curry.
Oh, okay.
Like of course like Frank Ocean. I like JPEG Mafia. Rico Nasty. I like what she's doing. She's from where I'm from too.
Okay.
So
All original people right there. You just
yeah,
okay.
100%.
So you really
Hiatus Coyote.
Oh yeah, that's fire. I was just listening to her solo joint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on the way here.
Yeah.
Shout out.
She's great, Nia Palm.
Yeah, she's fire.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that list is impressive alone. Just that list alone. It's not what I was expecting.
Fact.
All right.
Let him.
Now, what I want to go back into the deal. So when it's time to make a deal, and the reason I said, obviously, me and you know each other. We had a lot of conversation, right? We talked about cosigns. We talked about this. We talked about that. When you ultimately chose Warner Brother Records, why did you choose them over all the other offers? Because I know you had offers all over the place.
Gosh, yeah, that was a time. That was an interesting time for me. Okay. Let me give you a little history. This is like a first. I want to do this because no one ever talks about these type of things.
Okay. Exclusive. Q&A with Che.
So it was a time, obviously, the Good Music deal, I had that on the table. I had RCA had a deal on the table. Somebody else, I can't remember the other person, maybe Republic, all this, they wanted me, in Island, something like that. And amongst that, Top ended up hitting me up and being interested.
It's my homie.
Yeah.
It's the big homie. Shout out to Top.
Shout out Top. Top said something to me that was very important. And this literally probably changed everything as far as the way my deal started to go. He said, I played him the very rough skeleton of Is He Real? Maybe it was 5 songs at the time.
Okay.
He said to me, yo, this is pretty dope. You should just finish it. Why? You got your own money. Like, I was already making money and things like that. It's like, you got your own money. Why go to the label now? Finish the album, then go to the label. And when he said that, it was like a light bulb, like, ding. So it's like, all right, I don't need money. I don't be buying, like, chains and all this shit. Like, I'm not broke. Like, let me, you know what I'm saying? As long as I can pay my rent.
He says that with a gold Rolex on his watch.
Yeah, but the Rolex, this is an investment.
Yeah, it is investment. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. So anyway, boom. That happens. And I make my album. And then I kind of was like waiting around to see what was going to happen with Top and everything. That took a little bit longer. And I knew I had to drop my album. I wanted to drop it at the time in April. So I said, let me just talk to some labels, see what's up. Atlantic was the first to jump out there. Shout out to Alex Rifkin.
Okay.
And his partner Christian. They kind of sparked all of that. And they were interested. Then obviously I'm in New York. We purposely didn't this is something a lot of people don't know. When a label flies you out to New York, you can really only meet with that label unless they don't pay for the round trip. They only pay for the trip there. If you pay for your trip back, you can meet with whoever you want. So we took the trip there, but we paid for the trip back. And we met with a bunch of different labels, and they were all. This is what it was. It literally was like the album was pretty much done, no features and stuff, just done. I would meet with a label, and the next day there would be an offer. They would like be so blown away by the fact that the project is done, the fact that I have a team, like how articulate I was, and how much of a vision that I had. They were like, "Yo, I'm trying to do this."
See that? That means get your shit together.
Get it together, like
plan, focus, execute.
Exactly.
You know.
So,
moral to that story,
right? So then now the deals start coming in. I remember it was South by Southwest. I had just met with Sylvia. I played her my album, and she had tears in her eyes.
Okay.
When it was done.
Yeah.
I played it twice in Epic. I played it for Ezekiel. And he wouldn't let me leave. He was like, nah. Like, I wasn't supposed to meet with Sylvia. It was her birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
But he was like, nah, this gotta happen. So I met with her, and then it was like, they offered me, at the time I had some good deals already, but they offered me something that was really pretty competitive.
Yeah.
And I remember my lawyer saying, nobody's gonna top this deal. This the deal. But the problem was I had just met with them. I didn't meet their staff. At this time I met with Atlantic maybe 3 times. I met with Warner twice. I met with a couple other labels more than one time.
You're starting to feel the connection.
Because I'm looking at the staff. I'm trying to see who's like fucking with me. Like who's got like the real shit that they can really like plug me into.
Now you weren't prone by any way, knowing that Warner is a new regime, it's a new team, it's a new building, it's a new.
And that's the thing. I like to work with the underdogs.
Okay.
I like to work with the people that are hungry, that are going to be the greatest in a few years.
Nice.
Because that's how I feel about myself. I don't necessarily go to the stock while it's at the tippity top, but if I see it gradually getting higher. That's who I like to tend to mess with. So how I pick my lawyer, how I pick everything on my team is pretty much like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Work ethic.
Right. So it came down to this. It was like the deal was good with Epic, but then we had one more shot. We had to give everybody one more shot. I was at South by Southwest. I was going to perform at Fader for it. Both my lawyers called me and told me the deal that I got offered by Warner. And it was a really good deal.
Yeah.
I already liked Brock, who was my A&R. I liked the fact that it was a new regime and they had a little bit of time to kind of develop a little bit. I liked the fact that everybody was excited about what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And obviously, all my deals, thank God, at that time, I was coming in as a partner. So it wasn't like every deal had a label deal. Every deal had like the masters.
See,
all
that's
that
building that leverage.
Exactly.
That's that strength from building what you did over those 3 years independently.
Right.
You know what I mean, that's that leverage.
So every deal was basically good, but there were just some deals that were better. And then the fact that I knew the Warner team and the deal was right, Atlantic wasn't trying to budge on certain things. And it just was like, all right, I'm going to go to Warner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations once again on that.
Thank you.
In closing, I would say really what I really want to hear from you is like, the purpose of Q&A is for the kids.
Yeah.
It's really about informing. I get asked all these questions from these young people, like in terms of like, how do I, things we've covered, how do I feel better? So if you had to leave, let's say 3 points to a new artist or a kid you meet on the street or, a kid, you go, talk at a high school, right? And the kid comes up to you. You see that hunger in his eye. Maybe he's from circumstances where we from. He's dodging whatever he's dodging and trying to make it. What are 3 things you tell him?
Wow. This is something that I was just thinking about the other day. I'm gonna think on them real quick. So there's 3 cheat codes to success. And if you do these 3 things, there's no way you could fail.
Okay. Shit, I might need to use these.
1 is to read books.
Yep.
If you read the right books, I'm telling you, you learn so much of what you need to learn, but people just don't take the time to read them.
Yeah, I'm a true believer in that. Used bookstores, Amazon.
100%. Visualize everything that you want to do. Write it down. Make sure it's in front of you all the time. And the third one is putting yourself in the position to make these things happen. Always being in the right place, always taking that extra drive that you may need to drive to New York to find a way to get into this place, because you may not have the plugs and whatever, but you can always get in.
Yeah, you just
gotta really want that shit. Like, anytime somebody's like, yo, I'm at the door, or they're not letting no more people in the door, it's like 90% of the time you could still find a way in there. Mm-hmm. It depends on how much you're willing to.
Yeah, but if you really wanted, you would have been there early, right?
That too.
You know what I mean?
Shit, when I fucking started, I used to go to the club in DC, all the clubs, and I would come in early with my book bag, and I would wait outside, and I'll act like I'm like the assistant for the DJ. I might know the DJ, whatever, and I would build a relationship with all the bouncers. So now every time I come there, they know what's up. They already know me.
Yeah,
they fucking with me.
They
like,
got you, yeah.
I don't even have to worry about it.
So relationships, right? You feel like it's like building relationships?
Yeah, I think that's important too. It's like, you just gotta really want that shit, man. It's not hard. Like, success is not hard. It's just everybody makes it seem like it's so impossible, so they shut themselves down before they even get a chance to try it out. You know, we're so confined into what society says we're supposed to do, or how society says we're supposed to move, that all the people that are successful are the people that realize, again, they sit on the moon and look at the world. You know what I mean?
One of the things in closing that has always drawn me to you has been your confidence. Where do you think that confidence came from?
Years of not being confident. Years of not being the most popular, or people like not like really necessarily fucking with me.
So you were like, let me get my weight up.
When you're confident, people feel that shit.
Yeah.
If you're confident in who you are, even if you don't dress good, how many times do you see somebody go in the crowd and start dancing, and they can't really dance, but their confidence sells it so much that everybody fucks with it?
Yeah.
That's literally all it is. If you're confident, when you get on stage, even if you're not the best performer, you get on stage with that confidence, you run that stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's really what it is.
I think confidence is a superpower, and I think people don't sometimes, is that theory that everyone has superpowers, right?
Right.
But they don't know how to tap into it.
Easy.
You know what I mean? Real. But I think confidence, especially if you're going to enter this game and be an artist, confidence is important, because you have to be able to turn that switch on.
100%.
When the light comes on, behind the scene.
Right. The best people know how to activate that confidence without arrogance. You know what I'm saying? It's hard though. Yeah. But it's honestly better to be confident and arrogant than to not be confident at all.
I believe that too. Years ago when I first met Biggie, and he walked in a room, and this is, before Ready to Die. This is like the one song out, Brooklyn Kid, and No Money Yet. Matter of fact, I think he stole some of my chicken. But the one thing that, when it came to the rap shit, you couldn't tell him nothing. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he was like, Shay, I'm gonna be that dude. And and you're looking at this, I'm like, this fat dude from Brooklyn, like this and I liked Party and Bullshit. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I didn't really know him that well, and he party and shit, but he's just like, yo, Shay, I'm telling you, I got that shit, man. And it was like, he made me a believer before I was even a believer. Right, you know what I mean? Right. Just because of the confidence, So that's one of the things I feel from you, and I've heard from day one. You were like, "Yo, what we doing, Chet?" You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted you to be literally one of the first guests on Q&A with Chet.
Thank you. I'm glad.
All right, thank you so much, man, for coming and sharing
your
stories
and
knowledge. Yeah, definitely. All right, much success.